Hey everyone, Where to Next, episode 8 with Casey Currie. And today my guest is Aaron Quesada, who works at Monster Energy, does a bunch on the activation side with Monster Cup, NASCAR, Supercross, all the other events they have going on, PBR, the list goes on and on. But today he actually rides in the race car with me for all my desert racing and then the UTV stuff as well. And today's episode basically is all about the Baja 1000. We did not have time to do anything before the race, so we just wanted to kind of break down the Baja 1000, everything we've done. You know, there's a lot of things that go into the Baja 1000. It being a loop race, it's 806 miles, all Baja. We had some unique features. We had some incidents happen in Baja. We had just a lot go on. So, you know, today, Aaron, thank you very much for coming on the show and, just rapping with me. My whole thing is bringing Aaron on to just kind of go over how we do Baja. So, Aaron, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So today, let's just go and kind of break it down how we, as a team, kind of do Baja. So, first things first, you can't really do any strategizing until the course map gets laid out. We don't know where we're going. We don't really know anything. So 2 weeks before the race, or 3 weeks before the race, the course comes out online. That's when you get to study, start figuring out what we can do as far as pit layout, where we're going to pre-run, who's pre-running what, who's driving what sections. And then that, for me, is where it all begins, right? So as the team owner, we'll sit here and study on the maps of, how far the race car is going to go in gas. There's sand sections, there's silt sections from previous races, and we'll study it. So like this year, we thought our race car could go 200 miles between each pit, which ended up being wrong by 20 miles. So we had to strategize or post race. We actually had to make some changes to our strategy to literally get the car to the finish line without running out of gas, which I've done in the past, by the way. So
kind of on that note, because we did at the 500 last year, we ran out of gas after San Felipe, which was a really fun experience. In your mind, when we were getting close, we had about 20 or 30 miles before we were going to pit and down in San Felipe. So what was going through your mind when you're like, how are you doing the math? Okay, we should have this many gallons left. We're supposed to pit in about 20 miles. Can we chance it?
So the gas gauge from 20 to 0 is 100% accurate if the car is not moving. So 70-gallon tank, gas gauge works the whole time, but the last 20, it's basically perfect. And then you get in a situation. I knew the car could go 200 miles at 70%, 65% all day. And then yes. So all of a sudden we're driving hard, driving fast. We passed a ton of cars, get in the silt. And I don't know, for some reason, right in the whole San Mateo Pass, right after Valle de Trinidad, I just was feeling like I was second guessing myself as far as my layout. Like, man, if I could only pit 3 times, it would go from 6 minutes of pits to, 12 minutes of pits if we had double that. And for myself, I didn't want to stop more than 3 times. 3 times was a perfect number, right? Because 800 miles, 3 pits, we're going to have 6 minutes of pits. It's going to be so fast. At the Ball 1000 last year, we pitted, and we had, 40 or 50 minutes of total pits. By the time you pull into, some of the organized pit stops, you're not the first car in line. They got dump cans, everything was just taking forever. And then, some pits didn't have the gas ready. And it's like, okay, we're not going to have that happen anymore. So now it's 6 minutes. We want to be in and out, all done. And yeah, we got through some San Mateo Pass and we were hauling butt. And I don't know. Then it started clicking man, I don't know. The gas gauge it's going between 8 and 20 and 8 and 20 and 10 and 15 and man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to run out of gas because we had a Jeep following us the whole time, but it's man, I don't even have to get involved in this. And right now we're in a good position. Obviously we're always trying to focus on the overall and we don't, every time we stop we get passed. And so anyways, we just made the decision, like right when we got to Highway 5, I was like, dude, I'm pulling the plug. We're freaking getting 10 gallons of gas. So I called in. We have satellite radios on the race car, so at all times the race car knows everywhere. You know, the race car and all my chase team are communicating the whole time. It's one very good thing we have in Baja is satellite radios. So we're always in contact. So like, I got people on Highway 1 in Camelot, you know, 1,000 miles away, in whatever, it's 8 hours away. We're all talking, and obviously I'm the one making the decision. And yeah, I decided.
I kind of wanted to mess with you and be like, come on, Casey. No, we can do it. No, we can do it.
Well,
we can make it to the pit. And then I was like, oh, crap. If we didn't make it to the pit and he listened to me for that one time. And
well,
we
the
ran
other
out,
problem is it's the hardest thing that like everyone doesn't realize. So right in at 3 poles, right above San Felipe, from San Felipe 205, we're exactly where we pitted, to our race mile 190. So basically, the last 50 miles, right where we'd run out of gas, is all whoops. So that means my Jeep is gonna have to drive down a whooped out road with gas, you know, with all the spare parts that it has in it, and like no matter what, it's gonna drive down the whoop. So dude, no matter what, it's a 30-minute pit stop. And to me, it's like 30 minutes. You might as well quit and put it on the trailer, even though it's not the case. But in your head, that's how you feel. Like, I just want to quit, right? You don't even know what's happening yet, but you want to quit. So in theory, the last 15 miles before 205 is all whoops, Powerline Road. It's all San Felipe, nasty whoops. So I was like, pull the plug. We ended up having it was under a minute pit stop. So it was not a big deal. But in that 1 minute, we got past by like 5-10 cars, and it just kills you inside to sit there and let that all happen. But no matter what, I mean, the pit strategy turned into a big deal. So, I mean, to go along with that, after that, we kind of readjusted all our pits. We've made the decision that we are going to pit. Well, actually, for me, I only had to go to 380 before doing a driver change. But from 380, I was supposed to go all the way to 600.
So like 180, 160 miles.
Yeah, I only had to go 180 miles. And we only burned 40 gallons of fuel, because we had a 50-mile or 40-mile pavement section at 60 miles an hour. And, you know, at that rate, I think I was getting 5 miles a gallon. So we didn't even have an issue. And then my brother got into 380, went to 600. And when the goal was to not have any pits there. And, dude, that was 220 miles. And honestly, he probably would have made it. Like, there were some silt sections, but at the same time, there was a lot of higher speed graded dirt road, which we didn't have on the first half. Like, the second half was more graded dirt roads, you know, not as much high revving as far as the truck was planted to the ground. With 4-wheel drive, it doesn't have that issue with just smoking the tires all the time. But so we ended up splashing him 20 gallons of gas there. We had a strategy. In my head, I had a backup plan before we even went down, that no matter what, I had 20 extra gallons on the highway 3 down to Highway 5, and then I had 40 gallons of gas spare on Highway 1 to get myself. Every truck or chase truck that was a fuel truck had 40 gallons or 20 gallons to top off. So it ended up working, but we had to end up doing 5 pit stops, actually 6. I got into a little fender bender, and I had to get my lights adjusted before dark, but we can get into that later. But anyways, back onto the course. So, all this pit stuff goes along. And then you have hotels, man. We go pre-running. Dude, we pre-run probably a lot less than a lot of the other faster cars, like the trophy trucks, I guess you could say. We have a lot going on. I do way more than just racing. I do a lot of Jeep stuff. I do a lot with NASCAR. We do a lot of stuff with Monster Energy. And I had to get home to go to Phoenix. So we spent the first week down there, and we came back down and pre-run another day or two. But really, so pre-running, you have to plan it all out, right? There's only so many hotel rooms. Catavina is a small hotel in the middle of nowhere. It only has like 30 rooms, and they completely sell out. Like, even on the race day, they announced the course on like a Tuesday at noon, and by Tuesday night, it was completely gone. So there was no more hotels. It was completely gone. So we strategized. We had a plan. It worked out great by splitting the driving duties in half with my brother, and I knew that for pre-running, I was going to do the first half, and for this year, just to make it easier on the team, by pre-running in Jeeps, first I made it for doing notes easier for Aaron, for typing and writing, and then being able to...
well, even the section, so for the 1,000 last year, we did the start and the finish. So pre-running the start, we went down to, what was it, about 3 something when we got out of the car, and then we had to drive for another 8 hours or something like that to get down to the peninsula or Loretto, and then got back in Loretto and all the way down to La Paz. So that was even just a nice change of pace. Like doing the start to 380, we only had that one section. We weren't hopping around and
made it way easier.
Yeah, it's kind of been fun too. So like you said, as far as what we've been pre-running in, the 1,000 last year we had your full on pre-runner, which was a blast, and then I think at the 500 we pre-ran in Can-Ams, which was a blast, and then this time around we did the Jeeps, which it's been a different experience each time, but it's been a really fun experience each time.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that is cool about Baja. I mean, the experiences that we get to do is, we're always busy, we're always hustling, and no matter what, anyone does for a living, dude, to get down to Baja, I think part of that whole living the way we do, and the things that people don't get to see is like when we go pre-running. This year, we divided in half. I did my half, my brother did his half, and then on my half, obviously I had Aaron in the car with me, and then my dad and one of his buddies rode in his Jeep, and then we just went down together. We no chase trucks, no nothing. We went down and we basically woke up crack of dawn, or no, way before dawn. We woke up at like 4 a.m, drove down, pre-run our section, got down to San Felipe, spent the night, and then we drove down, got all the way down to 380. Right after Coco's Corner, got back on the race course right there. Or got back on the highway right there. And then what we did was we synced it with my brother, who had Tucker riding with him, and then my Uncle John and one of my other guys, Justin, riding with my Uncle John. And they had a chase truck with them. So, like, they had a chase truck, bunch of spare parts. They had everything they needed. That we strategized it that if anything but the Can-Am broke, it could drive home. If my uncle's buggy or truck broke down, he could easily drive it home. Whatever we had to do, we can put a Jeep on the trailer. So it was cool because we went to Camaloo on night one or on second night, and we all basically went down and stayed together at the hotel. We all ate dinner together, kind of talked over our strategies of what's changed, what do we see differently, what do we need to do differently, and it was cool. After that, woke up early. Then we ended up driving up and doing the finish. We did 740 to the finish just to if there's any problems. In Santa Tomas, I was going to get back in the car and do the finish, but this year I always am kind of greedy and usually want to finish. But this year at the 500 and the 1,000, I let Cody finish. Just everyone puts in effort, everyone gets a little bit of glory, so I got to learn to give it up. But anyway, so with that, Cody pre-ran to the finish, and then it was all good. We all went home. We ended up actually every one of us drove straight home, straight to Phoenix, did a NASCAR event, came back down literally 2 days later. And we pre-ran a little bit in a Can-Am. It is fun. The variety of vehicles that we go down to Baja with, obviously a Jeep is comfortable on the inside. It's leather seats and it's air conditioned and it's just really comfortable. And then, the Can-Am brings more speed with no front window, and you got to wear helmets, and it's uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, the Jeep, you're styling, nice AC, you can talk, no helmets or headsets on. The Can-Am, I think you got stung by a bee, right?
Yeah,
last year.
Face.
The bee came and smacked you right in the forehead.
Yeah, but back to the pre-running thing, right? We get to have fun. That's the time that our 99% of the day we're out in the middle of the desert. Our cell phones don't work, and I mean we have race radios, and it's just a time like, dude. I mean, really, we get away. Like Aaron and I we're good friends on the side of anything work related, but dude, getting that opportunity to vent about the stresses of the day-to-day life of, right, we both have kids and we both have wives, and we have a lot going on, and my dad in the same boat with all the crap that he's got going on, and it's just that it's a time that we all get to enjoy, right? We go out to dinner at night and we just hang out as friends with really no cell phones and kind of far away from everything, right? I mean he is very busy at work, my dad. He's got a lot going on, and for him to get to come down with his buddy Brian, it's just fun, dude. Brian's a good guy. He makes a lot of jokes and makes the day go by faster for him. And yeah, and then obviously it's just fun, dude. To me, it's part of Baja that we don't really get to film. It's probably wouldn't be the most exciting thing you've ever seen in your life, but I mean, for us, it's kind of our getaway. I
don't know. I think if we were mic'd up in the truck, it'd be some good conversation, some good listening in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Should do a podcast while we pre-run, because
dude.
I think that was Casey and I, like you said, we get sidetracked. We'll start talking about stories, or our brains are always just going, so we're always thinking about other things that we could do, and So yeah, sometimes we're like, oh wait, we're doing notes. Sorry, I forgot about that.
I mean, even a good one. We even were like, I don't know what happened, but somewhere in the race, I was so not in the moment that I like almost drove the in past San Felipe, like down by Portecitos. The road is completely trashed. The rain came through there and demolished roads, and somehow in the race,
whole sections of highway are just gone.
But I ended up driving through the cones. Like, I was ready to just
and yelling at me that I didn't tell him to turn off to the side.
My focus was not there. But anyways, we backed up and had no issues. But no, so anyways, for pre-running, there's a lot that goes into it. We study it. We come home, and at that point, we completely unload the chase truck. We unload all of our pre-runners. We unload all the Jeeps, get everything cleaned up, get it all unbahad with the dirt and dust. And then from there, we load. We preload everything. We built these cool racks for the chase trucks, and we really do everything we can to make it where when we get down to Baja for the race, when we get down, contingencies on Thursday. We showed up, the guys basically all showed up on Wednesday. We did a little bit of, actually did a big team dinner down there at a super nice steakhouse. Aaron and I went out and ran the start just to make sure that nothing had changed, and then we got ready for Thursday, contingency day. We do contingency is insane. If you guys have ever want to go to an event and see how many people are into an event, the Ball 1000 is pretty unreal. Obviously, I'm getting ready to go to Dakar right now, and that could change things. But for right now, dude, contingency is just unreal. The amount of people that are passionate about off-road racing down in Baja, it's pretty unreal. Like, dude, the stickers, the autographs, the photos, and just the hanging out at the stage, right? Like,
what would you say your favorite part of contingency is?
The 30 seconds of glory you get at the stage, right? You sit there in line for hours, and then you get to drive up on top of the platform, the score platform, and dude, there's thousands and thousands of people. You get to throw out stickers, and everyone's hooting and hollering. And at that moment, dude, it's all becoming real, like surreal. You realize that, dude, you got. For myself, I got half the Currie family's with me down there, and then I got my brother with me, and you got all your friends, and you got the guys that are working for me, and you have all these people down there. And at that moment, we realized that, all right, here we go. We're gonna go race the Baja 1000, and like for myself, I'm very blessed to get to do this for a living, but you don't realize how much effort it takes to go do the Ball 1000 at any level. I don't care if you're in a UTV or in a trophy truck. Like, dude, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing. Things go wrong all the time. And like, all that has to go through your head to have a perfect day. And like, dude, you just, at that point, there's really nothing that's going to happen. At that point, which I will say we had a tough one. My uncle actually had to leave. My aunt's, brother-in-law passed away on Thursday in contingency, so my Uncle John actually had to go home and take one of his buddies with him, which, dude, family to me, always family's first, right? No matter what happens, dude, family is number one. There's nothing else in life that's more important than family. So we did lose my uncle, and we had to make some changes to our pits, which luckily we had enough guys down there. But at that moment, there's really nothing that can change. It's basically, at that point, it's game time, right? So half the team left. Talk about pre-planning and getting everything set up. We had sent half our 4 guys down to San Felipe. That way in the morning, they did not have to sit in traffic on Highway 3, no construction, no nothing. They basically were dialed in. They had to drive exactly 4 miles from the hotel to race mile 205. We had it dropped in lead nav and on the Lawrence. We had it programmed exactly where to go. My dad and Brian Smith were inside they were with me on the pre-run. We pre-walked it. We knew exactly where we wanted to go, and it worked out. When we showed up for the pit, there they were, done deal.
Which is kind of crazy to me, because if you look at it, this is really our second season racing desert, and where we've come from the first race to where, shoot, the night before we get out of the driver's meeting and shit, we still got a couple of hours to work to do on the truck, or the notes and loading the maps and packing the chase vehicles, to where like this time it was like, man, we had contingency. Everyone was just kind of chilling,
hanging out
after the driver's meeting. Like you said, half the team was already down in their post for their pit stop and stuff. And so it was a a lot of stress taken off of that whole night.
Absolutely. Because the other half of the team, we stayed down in Kamloops because we couldn't get a room in Kettawing. We stayed in Kamloops. We have a epic hotel we liked, and I can't give that online because I don't want anyone staying there. But no, we have a radical hotel. So Paul, Michelle, my brother Tucker, a couple other guys, they all went down that night and just made it where they had to wake up. They had to drive 2 hours south to do the driver change. So once again, they bypassed all the traffic, any insanity through Ensenada. We try to do our best to make it as safe as possible. One thing that my biggest concern is safety for anyone. I don't want anyone to have to go not come home. And for myself, I really want to make sure that safety is always put in everyone's mind, right? There's no drinking. There is no drinking and driving. There's no drinking and playing around. There's no goofing around. Before the race, Thursday night, Wednesday night, there was no drinking. The biggest thing that we focus on is safety. So getting everyone down the night before, that meant that no one had to wake up early. No one was late. No one got gas. No one did anything. Everything was completely done to the point where they drove down, they ate dinner, and we got out of the race car at 9 p.m. The goal was like 9 p.m. I think we got out of the car at 9. We were within an hour of our plan all day. We were really close. So with that being said, dude, everyone was well rested. We knew we were going to drive through the night. Everyone got sleep where they needed to. We had no car accidents on the road. But anyways, we lined everyone up, dialed everyone in. We went back, stayed. Dude, once again, oddest feeling in the world. Here, all your chase teams are where they need to be. Everyone is kind of in place. And here you are eating dinner at 8 o'clock at night going like, well, I mean, we're just going to hang out. And then, okay, tomorrow we're going to go up the line at 11:30 a.m. Okay, well, that means we're going to wake up we'll sleep in crazy till 8 and then go eat breakfast and just sit.
Even though you're up at 5 because your brain's not thinking.
Yeah, I mean, so all you want to do is race, and you hear helicopters going because the motorcycles left at 3:30 in the morning, and my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour because what'd you miss? Is something on the trophy Jeep already broken? Are we going to go 5 miles and crash? Everything's going through your head the whole time. But anyways, you didn't have anything to do, so we literally just hung out. We went to breakfast and enjoyed our time, and went on stage, and once that began, I mean, it was basically go time. So at that point, the strategy was done. We knew we had plans. We had backup plans. We had everything we needed to do. Contingency is unreal. We had, dude, I mean, the whole thing it's pretty crazy because you're racing 800 miles from the time you take the green flag to the time you finish. There is no brakes, there's no stopping, there's no anything. Like it's
P brakes.
Yeah, no P brakes. Yeah, no peeing in the car. But I mean, on my side, it's pretty unbelievable what all these teams can do. With a lot of them are not full time. I mean, dude, I only have 3 full time guys working for me, and everyone else is either friends or their family members, and they come down for the same passion we have. Everybody wants to win. We all get hot headed. Every time that, no matter how much you talk about it, how much we get excited, everyone gets excited when that race car pulls up to a pit. Boy, you really get excited. Everyone wants to be the superhero, and they want to fix everything, and they want everyone wants to do as much as they can to make sure that everyone succeeds. And dude, we all get it. We try so hard to make that not happen. And it always happens. Every pit stop, you got guys that are getting overly anxious and want to make things happen. And we spill a little gas and we get a little in a hurry. And it's just crazy. You sit here and go, man, dude, for all being volunteers, it's pretty unbelievable for how much we can do with a small team. I mean, we run it as a big team and we run with the big dogs and we're not scared to do anything. But to myself, like, I like a core group. I mean, obviously I go so much and I travel the world and we do a lot. And for myself, I'm just one of those guys. I need a core group around me all the time. I have to have people around me. I get like into a weird place that I don't like crowds of people and I don't like certain things. So for myself, to the comfort of having a small group around me that I'm one of those guys that opens up and I put everything on the table with, that group of people. And it's hard when I have a bigger group of people just because of trust, man. It's hard. There's a lot of people in this world that will do things on accident that could hurt my team. And to myself, we have a great group of guys. But then, come race day, we were ready to go. So, I mean, on the race, Aaron sat next to me. We have all the notes. So Aaron, besides taking the notes in the car, we have a cool way of doing our own notes that we don't really talk about online. But we have a great way of doing notes. But it takes Aaron, I don't know, 10 hours, you think?
It's a while. Like, well, I like to look at the race course even before, we go down there just to kind of get a sense of where we're at, or, some of the sections of the race courses from previous races are the same. So maybe there was a line that we took one time that, you kind of remember. It's crazy. It's crazy to me, like how much you end up remembering of the race courses.
Yeah, big time.
And even, well, I think that was my like 7th race down in Baja, but you start to remember certain sections and, oh, well, this line was fun, or this line was crap. Let's not do that one. Like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. So they once the race was ready to start, though, like we had the notes done. So he had everything programmed in. We have 2 GPSs in the car. I have a small one that I don't really focus so much on what the notes say, but just to make sure that when I look down, I have a speed. I have the speed on my GPS, and then I have a line, so that way I know roughly.
Follow that red line, dude.
Follow
the red line.
So just sometimes when you're getting in the dust and you're second guessing your co-driver, you gotta have that. Yeah, just follow the red line. But anyway, so he calls out the notes, he does all that, and then for really once the race started, I mean, we were game time. We had a plan and we attacked the plan. So everything went good. Race mile 40, we did get into the silt, did not have any buzzards going off, and we hit the back of a 6100 truck. I don't know. We were probably doing 20, 25 miles an hour, which, dude, it hit hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. It hit, but we ended up folding the front bumper into the lights, which on my trophy Jeep, I have an oil cooler that is vulnerable, very vulnerable. It's actually only behind a fiberglass grill. It's going to get moved now. When we first built it, the goal was never to make, the trophy Jeep was never meant to be aggressive in the fact of, like, my whole thing is I'm not really a nerfer. I don't really drive up to the desk. God, dude, don't. I do. I get in the moment, but I try not to nerf people. I try. And then, but anyway, so like we got in, we ended up folding the bumper. I didn't know at the time, so we got out of the silt. 4-wheel drive helped a bunch in the silt. It's crazy because when people complain about in the silt, sometimes you literally get through and go like, I mean, besides getting dust in the face, like I didn't really slow
and
down.
It was pretty funny because with the Stella, that's another safety device, which is pretty cool. It actually has a button to let the people in front of you know that, hey, they're being overtaken. So, no, if we were being overtaken, like trophy truck or whatever, you don't want to hold up someone's race if they're not in your class. You're not racing them. So what does it matter? Get out of the way. But yeah, Casey thought that button was his. Did you hit the blue button? Like, yeah, well, man. Like,
if the blue's not flashing in the dash, to me, well, half the time, no matter what, no one wants to pull over for you because they think that they're racing and they're competitive. It's frustrating because that's one of the most frustrating things about Bajas. You put us behind, whatever. In years past, cars were going slower, but this year, we passed every single Class 10 car by the halfway mark, and we passed every Class 1 car but one, and we passed all but 3 6100s. And we just got into a lot of dust, and we got stuck. A lot of the race, we were stuck behind people. Just the common courtesy of the blue light flashing, man, it's move over, but they have...
No, it's pretty cool feature, and the safety part of it, for us it didn't really work. I don't know about for other people. A couple of the other co-drivers that I talked to, it didn't really seem like it was working for them. But if there was someone broke or stuck on the race course, there's a caution button too that's supposed to send a signal behind you to let the people coming up on you know that, hey, we're broke, or there is a caution on the race course. It was weird, like the caution would beep and we're literally driving right past them. So
yeah, they got some fine tuning.
Work some bugs out on that would be good, but again, safety wise, it's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah, I agree on that. But yeah, so once we got through the silt, right out of Ojos, we had a good run. We ended up having to stop. We had to stop on a highway section to just overlook the car, and then which turned into I don't know. We felt like we were there for 30 minutes, probably only 5 minutes, but we ended up having to rip the hoop off the front of the car, and all the lights got smashed in the oil cooler, or smashed under the oil cooler, and then we had to readjust those just to make sure we didn't get ourselves into a situation that it got dark and we had no lights. And then on top of that, somewhere we got into barbed wire, and I wrapped like 90 feet of barbed wire around my axle, so we had to cut that off. We almost lost the brake line. The brake line is so close to being pinched completely off, but didn't happen. And we had to stop there. Somewhere right in Valley Thierry, right off the side of the road, actually coming out of the Mike's Loop.
Coming down Mike's, yeah.
We just stopped there. And then from there, we drove. I mean, we did good. We were running a good pace, dude. the trophy Jeep is working better than it ever has. We've done a lot of testing with Fox, and we're just, I mean, obviously progression is something that my shop is known for, as far as just going as far as we can with what we have. And dude, Fox did a very, very good job of going further than we ever have. We went through and revalved everything. We did new springs, and yeah, I was blown away. We went through San Felipe Whoops faster than we ever have by like 20 miles an hour, and yeah, it was good. We only got past one time the entire night, and it was by a trophy truck. And I think he was in more in a hurry than us. And really, rather than that, we didn't, out of our 380 miles, never got passed by anyone. No lights. And I would have pulled over, never got nerfed, never got hit. But around that, we stopped San Felipe. We fueled up, topped off, wiped our lenses off. And then from there, that's when the sun started setting. And we just stuck to our plan. We had from there to 380. Well, we did have to stop one time. I must have hit a tree. I broke the top light bar off the car 1 mile before my dad was going to be following me in the Jeep. So we just pulled over and pulled the top light bar off, which it was so dusty and miserable anyways. And I don't even know if you knew this, but we had a brand new laser beam light from Baja Designs on the bottom. So that light was like 10 times more powerful than any light we had in the car, which basically was the only light we had.
That was
in the car.
pointing straight up. It looked like the Luxor in Vegas.
We adjusted it once Cody got in the car, but it was crazy. We really didn't have to run. With the light bar falling off, we had two LP9s on the front that make it look like a Jeep, and our light situation was, we never really had.
Well, it doesn't really matter because a lot of times we were in dust the whole time anyways, so having all the lights on you can't see. It's like driving in fog with the lights on, so just reflects the light super bad. So yeah, a lot of times we weren't even running all the lights.
Yeah, so around that, we pretty much had a flawless run. We got in to 380 and put my brother in the car. That was supposed to be our slowest pit. We told ourselves a 4-minute pit stop. It's crazy because, dude, a year ago it was 10 minutes was a fast pit. Now we're down to 2 minutes, and a 4-minute pit is terribly slow. But we play by safe. We always shut our car off when we pit, no matter what we do. We shut the car off. We just feel that the team that we have and the safety that we have, we feel that by shutting the car off, if there was a fire, it would be easier to communicate over the sound of an engine, or not the sound of an engine rather than the sound of an engine.
Well, even pulling into a pit, if the motor's on, you're yelling, you can't hear anything. So if you're asking them to check something or adjust something,
it's way easier with the engine off. But so we got in, Cody got in the car. From there, I mean, really, they drove basically a perfect race. They got basically in. We did do our pit stop at Santa Tomas. We dumped in an extra 20 gallons, which probably didn't need, but by then, Shannon Campbell was out of the race. We found out he was out of the race at basically race mile 280.
Think about that, though, for a second. Like, when we got out of the race car and you get into an area with reception, like, keeping up with the race just via social media, how many people that are down there and posting and clips, like, back in the day, that was, you didn't know anything. You would hear some rumors or, I heard on this channel, so-and-so, that, like, most of the time, a lot of stuff that you heard wasn't true. Like, never really happened.
Yeah. It is crazy because, I mean, the only reason we knew Shannon Campbell was out because they were posting that they're in a booby bar. So, no, they were, like, honestly, that's the only reason we knew that they were out of the race was they were posting on their social media. So, once that happened, the pace for us, we didn't change. We were all, I mean, obviously our goal was, one thing that we've been very fortunate on, the Trophy Jeep has been a very reliable vehicle, and we wanted to keep pushing it hard. So we drove it hard. I mean, I would say we drove between 65 and 70% all day. The car still has a lot more in it, but at the same time, we don't want to throw it away for absolutely no reason. But with that, dude, we got to the finish line 7 in the morning, and really just no issues. The only time we got passed was in the pits. It makes me want to perfect what we have even more to speed it up. Strategy, we pitted. We were supposed to pit every 200. It needs to be every 180 to 200, depending on the sand and silt, which we'll perfect. Obviously, this is only our second year. But on that, really, we had a great job. The team we had was great. I really think Score did a great job with the course. I think the way they laid the course out, being close to the highway at all times, minus 2 loops, that 380 to 420, was far from anything. It did go 50 miles out towards the coast, which is far. But they did a great job. To me, as a racer, with my family being down there, I like that. Myself as a driver is never really more than 10 miles from the highway. I figured that, we can no matter what, the race car would be getting out of there within a couple of hours. And to myself, that's good. And, without going down the peninsula, it's way more affordable. It's way more safe. We had no fuel stops that had to drive. Everybody with fuel was in their spot ready to go before the day started. So that was good. Yeah, dude, the trophy Jeep.
What was your favorite part of the race when you're in the truck? What was the favorite section of the course, or like just your favorite memory? Why are you?
Dude, I have two. So for first section, my proud moment was hauling ass and skipping the whoops in San Felipe. I would say, yes, my teeth felt like they were gonna fall out of my mouth. My eyes were losing focus, but like, dude, this to feel. I know there's not a lot of video out there because it's already getting dust, but to have the trophy Jeep actually getting on top of the whoops in San Felipe, it was like a proud moment because, like, dude, compared to what it was last year. And then, the vehicle's only 2 years old. That was its second Ball 1000, and it only started racing at the Mint last year. So it's got like 6 races on it. And like, dude, where it was in last year, we would have been doing 30 or 40 miles an hour, like rolling the whoops.
Love to see footage of how the car looks going through the whoops. God. Because I could imagine you look at a trophy truck and it looks so smooth. You're like, man, it's got to be so smooth in there. And I'm really curious on how much their bodies are getting beat up.
Yeah, me too.
That stuff was rough.
Boy, it was rough. But for myself, like just seeing that the car has the speed, it might not be the smoothest thing, but we do a 4-wheel drive. We run a 9-inch front differential on the thing, which is wider than what now a lot of the trophy trucks are running. But I'm happy with what we have, and the trophy Jeep is a machine. And then around that, there was a section right before Coco's, and it was just like tight and just fast. Like we were just like knocking it off. You were doing a great job on the notes, and like the dust was not. It was like dark, so the dust, we had low lights on. Oh no, that's what it was. It was, dude, Portecitos. It was on the what side of the highway were we on? We were on the what side of the highway were we on? We were just nailing them in Portecitos. Like it was right. Oh man, what section was it?
The long.
No, it wasn't there. It was further south than that. But we were just nailing it, and it was like all sand, all berms, and we were just ripping through there. Oh, I know where it was. It was after Portecitos. It was when I was on the right hand side of the highway, and it was a shitty sand wash, and we pre-ran and found our own line. Obviously, we weren't the first ones, but we definitely passed multiple 6100s in that section. But we found a line that was fast, no whoops, all crazy sand, 4-wheel drive. It was just ripping. We were shredding through these cactuses, all sand, hauling the freaking mail.
That was a fun section. That was one of my highlights.
Dude, yeah, dark outside, and like we were just ripping. And dude, having the course, like having everything go like that, oh dude, it was money. And there was a VCP. We nailed that. Like, dude, there's a VCP that technically wasn't on the fast line, but there was like a half mile before that, you could dart off in the right spot and squirt over, and you nail the VCP, and then you turn hard left, and you go back onto the fast section. Oh, dude, we nailed it.
That's what cracks me up sometimes. Like when it takes us a little while to get in a rhythm. Like it takes me a little while, anyways, to get in the rhythm of calling the notes, and am I calling things too early and I'm calling them too late? Like. It takes a little bit to get in that rhythm, but then once everything starts flowing and you get in that rhythm, and then, if there's something serious or he hears a noise, like you kind of get a little stressed out and a little panicked for a second, but you're like, oh wait, we're having fun, right? This is fun. Yeah. We're having a good time. We're enjoying ourselves, or I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's one thing it's like the hardest thing to do is like, dude, everyone's there to win. You the mindset's to go there and win, but man, I'm 35 years old. I'm getting to drive in Baja. You got your friends with you, your family with you, your dad's with you, your brother's with you. And like, dude, you get done. It's like, oh man, was that even worth it? Like, man, I can probably go to Big Bear and have as much fun in the cabin. But I mean, you sit there and dude, the stories that come out of Baja, for anyone that ever wants to go down, like the adventure you're going to get, it's so unbelievable. I mean, it blows me away that like, there's thousands of stories in those moments in time that you'll never get back, that you'll literally be like, dude, in 20 years, I'm like, you know what? That one time, oh, I forgot about that. Oh, what, dude? Remember when we were driving and we blew that corner? We were in the weeds and we hit a cactus, and like we had a perfect time. I mean, funny story that we actually were in the desert a week after the Baja, and like everyone has race radios now, even in their Can-Ams and UTVs and stuff. And it's funny because like, dude, everyone's talking, oh, how funny it would be if we hit a cactus, because there was a cactus place in North Glamis where we were at, and like I was like, dude, there it goes. There's that whole thing. Oh, you forgot about it. Never wasn't important at all, but there it is, dude. You got a 20-minute story about, dude, on accident. I hit a cactus, dude. I watched this piece of round cactus with 2-inch,
full on just flying to the cab.
Flew in the cab and boom, nailed Aaron right in the arm. And I think there we are. We got dome lights on. It's dark outside. And
Casey slowed down, asked me to turn the lights on, and wanted me to check and make sure it wasn't on him.
Yeah, I thought it hit me in the chest.
He was clear. He just kept going. And wait a second, I got a big piece on my arm. Could you stop bouncing for a second so I can get this thing off?
But there's that moment, like, right? There's that whole moment. I took my time. I slowed down for him. Turned the dome light on. He's exaggerating. Or maybe not all the way, but no, we do. But it's like that moment, right? You're out, dude. We're out somewhere totally different with our friends and family, and you're just ripping UTVs, and like those stories are getting on the radio. And there you have, like, there's that moment in time that it's not like that didn't win or lose us any race, but right, like that whole funny moment, right? If you'd had a camera, that would have been funny. Some videos of a cactus landing on the guy's arm, and dude, now you're bouncing and the lights are bad, and you're trying to get this cactus that once you pull it off your sleeve, it's stuck in your gloves, and then you got a window net. And I have Lexan windows in the front, so the only way the cactus can leave is it has to leave out the front, because you throw it down by your feet. The passenger's feet.
On it the whole time.
Yeah, the passenger's feet it's in a little capsule deal that he's got a footrest, and it's got the air cleaner on one side and the outside walls on the other, and the jack is under there, and there's an impact gun. You can't just throw it on your feet. You're gonna get stuck, and it's gonna hurt. And dude, anyways, all those good stories. It's just funny that it's not those times. Like the winning the race is cool, and like, dude, getting to the finish line to me is probably the most. Dude, stress reliever that you can have, right? Now, to myself, the way we had it, all of our team was there. Everyone was at the hotel. Everyone went to the hotel. Everyone checked in. At that moment, 7 a.m., no one had to drive anywhere. We were at the finish line, and there it was. Like, boom, we've made it. We did 806 miles with no flat tires and no hiccups, to the point where I didn't feel that we had to come back down to Baja to repair anything dude, we made it. Like, it's crazy.
Or even to see how many vehicles are still left on the race course.
Gnarly.
When we finished, a couple hours behind the trophy trucks, 2 or 3 hours behind the trophy trucks, the first trophy truck. And then, you look at the Score app and see how many cars are still out there racing. You're like, man, you got a long ways ahead of you.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so not. But you look at that in general, though. Like, dude, you get to the finish line, and Baja is their Score International. The way they do their racing, I mean, dude, it is about it. It's not so much about racing other competitors as much as it's racing the desert, because that desert can haunt you. I mean, that dust. Here's the deal: the strategy of when to pass and when not to pass, and is there dust? Is there no dust? Is there booby traps? Is there no booby traps? Dude, then you get into that whole speed section, dude. Like, we had an incident where I got passed on the highway, and then you're like, do you get angry 4 miles into the race and try to throw your complete 800-mile race away due to somebody speeding on the highway? And dude, I don't know what to do.
What is the finish rate for Baja? Isn't it typically
less than half?
Yeah, 50%.
Yeah, I think it's less than half. It's low. It's hard. I mean, look at how many people were stuck in the silt bed. It's incredible. I mean, it is insane. And I mean, the speeds are getting better, right? The economy's better. Everyone's driving harder, and the rate. I mean, the finish rate is lower because of how fast everyone wants to drive and be the superhero that they can be. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty gnarly. So, I mean, for myself, it was a dream to win the Ball 1000. So now it's like just trying to achieve more and more doing those type of events. But I mean, in reality, dude, Baja is a magical place, and really going over all the logistics and just the 806-mile of race course, the race car itself, the prep. I mean, we take that car down to a bare frame. We rebuild the engine, the tranny, the transfer case, the steering, the alternator, the starter, the fuel cell, the fuel pumps. I mean, every trailing arm, every heim, every bearing, every single thing on that trophy Jeep was replaced. If it wasn't replaced, it was sandblasted, it was crack checked, it was inspected. I mean, down to everything, the wheels and the tires, the brakes, the brake pads, I mean, we check every single thing. And I will say Tucker and Justin, you know, they do a lot of the work. Tucker does most of the work on the trophy Jeep himself, and then Justin kind of oversees some of the fab work and fine tune of, you know, wiring things that could be modified or adjusted or fine tuned. But dude, I mean, for two guys, it's just a lot of work. And I mean, the reward is getting there to the finish line and be like, well, there it is. I mean, besides the mistakes that we made that hurt the front end of the car, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we haven't even watched. It's been 2 weeks. Haven't even washed the trophy Jeep yet. This year they had no water down there. They had nothing to literally rust out the trophy Jeep. So it's looking good. I actually have to change the transfer case, change the front diff, and we're going to go testing for the hammers before I prep it. So we have a busy couple weeks here. So yeah, I mean, rather than that, Ball 1000 is one for the books. Please, people, you guys need to come down, check it out. If not, I mean, check out the videos on YouTube. Watch our videos on YouTube. You need to see Baja. It's a magical place. If you want to go down, and anyone is allowed. Listen to my first podcast with Bud Brutsford. That podcast will tell you all the places you can go. Drive a Jeep, drive a buggy. I mean, drive your truck. I don't care what you drive. Just go down and see it. Go sleep on a beach somewhere. Wake up in the morning and watch race trucks drive by at 100 miles an hour. It's pretty unreal. It's all capable. It's safe down there. Be in the right places at the right times. It's a lot of it's common sense. You wouldn't drive to a lot of places in California at nighttime. It's the same down there. And I think that, you know, being smart with your people and your stuff, it pays. I mean, obviously mistakes can happen anywhere. Things can happen. But everyone needs to know that Baja is a safe place. We have a great time. We absolutely love it down there. But yeah, I mean, check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Facebook. We are getting ready for Dakar. We're getting ready for King of the Hammers. I'll be actually doing some fun competition at X Games this year. So we have a very, very, very busy January. And yeah, dude, thank you guys for listening to Where Is To Next. Aaron, thank you very much for getting on. You got anything else you want to say?
No, thanks for having me.
So this is episode 8. Please listen in. We're going to be doing a bunch more. Dakar is coming. We're going to have a lot going on. So please follow along. Where To Next with Casey Currie.